Which offer are you finding most attractive right now that you've got like on the table? Well, you'd like to see, if I'm understanding right, you're okay for someone to take over your loan and then bring about $50,000 in cash to the table. If I were to write up an offer and be willing to close pretty quick, is this something you want to move forward with?
Welcome to a new video series where I'm going to show you how to wholesale a house from start to finish. On this part one video, get ready to look over my shoulder and watch me negotiate and secure a subject to deal live on a nice brick house in Texas. Now, when I talked to the seller, he already had multiple offers from other investors, yet I got the deal without having to pay more. So this is a video you don't want to miss. But first, if you're new here, I'm Jerry Norton. I make millions of dollars a year wholesaling and flipping houses. And here on my YouTube channel, I show you how to do the same. So if you want to be a flipping genius like me and live your dream life, subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. Before we cut to the live call with the seller, let me give some context to the situation, and then I have a homework assignment for you. Now, this is a private seller in pre-foreclosure who has about 45 days until the foreclosure auction. That means there are back payments or arrears that need caught up, or what is called reinstated with the lender. And not only is he a super nice guy, he's probably the savviest pre-foreclosure seller I have ever met. He knew the value of his home. He knew he didn't have much equity. He knew the best option this late in the game was to sell his home using a creative financing strategy called Subject to, where an investor would take over his loan. He knew his loan was very appealing to investors with a fixed 2.8% interest rate. He also understood how reinstatement worked, as well as the foreclosure process and timeline. He knew how to negotiate getting cash for his equity. He also was proactive and had already received 5 offers from other investors, so he had a lot of options. He also was attempting to do a loan modification with his lender and was really hoping he could keep the property. On top of all of that, there is a second position solar panel loan that adds another layer of complication to the deal. Now, as you'll see in a minute, he was willing to share with me his other offers, and I created a custom offer that solved his biggest concern that no one else offered, that allowed me to get the deal without having to pay more than the other offers on the table. So here's your homework assignment. I want you to dissect this call. As you listen, pause and make a list of all of the questions I ask him and how I position myself as someone trying to help him make the best decision for his situation. Watch for my tonality, how I pause at times, how I listen and try to understand him. See if you can identify why I was someone he felt he could trust. Especially watch for what I do to solve his biggest concern. Then I want you to compile your notes about why you think he decided to go with me over everyone else, and leave a comment with your findings. Look, this is how you get better at talking to sellers, better at building relationships of trust, better at negotiating and winning deals, better at finding solutions and solving problems, so don't skip this assignment. Okay, let's cut to the call.
Norton, is this
Yes.
calling you about your property on?
Yes.
Great. Do you have a minute we could talk about that?
Sure.
Okay, maybe tell me what you're hoping to do.
Well, what I'm trying to do is pretty much just get my equity out of the house. So my payoff and everything is about $250. The house is appraised around $300,000, so it's about a $50,000 difference there. So I was hoping to get my equity out of the house and then just kind of let it go from there. I figured you guys can get y'all's money back, considering the interest rate, how it's so low. But the only thing about that is I do have solar panels as well, so that's where it's been a little tricky for some people.
Are the solar panels financed, or how's that work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're financed, yeah.
Yeah.
They're a second lien, obviously.
Do you know the monthly and the balance and stuff?
Yeah, the monthly payments are about $238, and then my PITI for my mortgage is $1640.
$1640. Okay.
And then I kind of already done my due diligence. Like I said, the house appraises for about $300,000, $250 on the house.
And the $250 would include, that's including the arrears of like $24,000 or so?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I've got a copy of your statement. So it's showing about $225 as a balance, and then about $25 in behind in arrears.
Correct. So total, I got the total. It's about $248 and change, but I just like to round up to like $250. That's all included with the mortgage payoff as well as the reinstatement for the arrears.
Yeah.
So it's about $250 on that end.
Is it vacant right now, or are you in there?
No, I'm still in here.
Okay.
I'm still in here.
Okay. And you would be able to move out by closing?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Move out.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, like I looked up the neighborhood there. In the past 6 months, there's been 3 sold homes that are pretty much identical. Everything in there's kind of pretty much the same. There's one that sold for 300, 310, and then I don't know if you saw this one, but this might be your neighbor. That just sold for 275, like literally 2-3 weeks ago. You're probably pretty fair there around that 300 number. I'll just shoot straight with you if you don't mind. The challenge is as an investor, you always want to buy and have equity when you buy, right? So buy low enough to where you've got some equity. Now, if you're open to do creative finance, then maybe that makes sense, right? So come in, take over the loan, then I don't have to raise as much money, not as much capital outlay. But if I'm bringing 50,000, it'd be 25 would pay arrears, 25 to you. That might be a little tight to make sense to be paying full retail, especially with that solar going on there.
Yeah.
So that's all. Do you know how long you have? Like, what's your window look like for the foreclosure?
I mean, it's March 5th, I think, is the sell date, but I'm also doing some loan modification stuff too. So,
Okay.
That's kind of like my last resort. If that thing kicks in before, then I'm probably going to keep the house myself, and I'll probably use it as one of my own investments.
I see.
And just
Yeah.
I just rent it out. Yeah, but if it doesn't, if it's taking a while and it doesn't kick in time, then yeah, I'll try to go the other route. Yeah.
That's great you're being proactive, because if they'll do a loan mod and you can keep it, then that's great. You've got it currently right now on Zillow
Yeah, I do.
as a buy owner.
Yes.
Have you had much interest on that?
Mainly realtors, obviously,
Yeah.
want to list it for me. I have a couple other offers from investors. They're willing to come in and give you the 25 and all that. So I'm just entertaining different offers right now. So
Okay.
hopefully I can make a decision here maybe by next week sometime.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
So, well, you'd like to see, if I'm understanding right, you're okay for someone to take over your loan and then bring about 50,000 in cash to the table. That would be 25 to pay back the back payments, and then 25 to you. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, pretty much.
Tell me one more time how that solar works. So there's a principal balance owed and then a monthly payment, right?
The payments are $238,
238 a month.
and then the balance, the total amount due is like 40. I think it's like 47,000.
47,000. How many years is on the loan?
So it's for 25 years. What am I, 3 years in? So I think you still have like 22 years left.
Okay. What's your electric bill now?
My last electric bill was like $25.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Oh yeah.
What were you paying average?
It was about the same.
That's the good argument to make, would be, you got that additional payment, but at the same time, you just wiped out your electric bill.
Exactly. It's pretty much the same payment. My plan wasn't to
sell.
I wanted to keep my house. So that's why I went with solar panels. But
Yeah.
some things happened. It got a little rough for me last year, and I just have to do this right now. I'm fine with the hard reset.
I got to commend you. You're taking action to try to solve the issue, instead of postponing it. You're being proactive about it. So that's great.
Yes, I have to.
Would you say that the condition is reflective of the pictures on Zillow?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's a 2-story, and I'm the only one living here. So
The way I kind of look at it is I really try to stay, and most investors are kind of there, like around 10% in cash of the total purchase. So are you pretty set on that cash to you at closing? Like, just tell me where you're at with things. If I did that, would you be ready to go where you could do the deal? I just don't want to waste your time or my time.
No, yeah, most definitely. I get all that, but I definitely want to try to get that amount. And I mean, I'm pretty sold on the deal if we can work.
Okay. Another solution that we do sometimes would be to do a second position loan to finance some of the equity. Do you know how that would work?
And then y'all would just make payments to me?
Yeah, exactly. What it would do is it would be like, let's just say I gave you 15,000 instead of 25,000, then we could make it another 15,000, so give you a little bit more, and then that remaining 15,000 becomes just a second position lien. So it records as a lien, and then whenever I sell or refinance then that would be due in full. And sometimes that's an attractive way to still get the higher number. You just don't get all the cash today. You wait to get some of it. Putting that out there is another option that's pretty common.
Yeah, I've heard that before too.
Okay.
I won't give you nothing down, but I'll give you payments over this amount of time, or I can give you half now and then the other half in payments. So yeah, I've definitely heard all that.
That's great. Well, it's really awesome to talk to you that you understand some of that. Some people, it's like a brand new idea, so it takes a little bit of explaining, but it sounds like you got it. On that 25 that you'd like to see in cash, is there a scenario where some of that being financed would be an option for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a deal breaker for me, but it's definitely not my first option either.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think because I do, like I said, I do have, other offers and stuff, and I'm just trying to figure out which is the best route for me to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
which offer are you finding most attractive right now that you've got like on the table?
So what I have right now is $55,000 entry fee. 25 goes to the arrears, and 30,000 comes to me at closing. And they're willing to do that just all at front, like all at closing.
Okay.
I have that offer, and then I have a similar offer with the 25,000 at closing. And then I have a 20,000 offer, and then I have a couple other ones that are like, I'll give you 10% down and the rest in payments. And so, I have all these
different scenarios.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to really sit down and wrap my brain around what would I be okay with, because I'm just trying to get rid of some debt. I'm trying to have some money to move into another property or something. Mm-hmm. Trying to have a good exit strategy,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But yeah, obviously the most appealing one is that first one with the 30K.
Mm-hmm. Was all of that 30K to go to you, meaning that there would be closing fees still on top of that, or did some of that go to closing fees?
No, that was straight to me.
Okay.
They would cover the closing costs, and then I guess what they called it, the transaction coordinator.
Yeah. So usually there's going to be something like this. There's probably $2,500 to $3,500 in closing fees, and then the transaction coordinator might be like another $1,000. So usually you're looking at like $3,000-4,000 in fees at closing. Do you know what the market rents are there in that neighborhood?
I also did that due diligence as well.
Great.
2,000 to like 2,200, and the reason the 2,200 is up there as well is because I'm also factoring in the solar panels.
Oh yeah, that'll get a higher rent because they won't have an electric bill.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I'm at with that. It's anywhere from 2,000 to 2,200 a month.
Okay.
For sure.
I think I could match that. I'd have to really feel good about taking over the solar because technically you're adding that balance onto your value, your principal. So you're adding another $47,000. So you'd have to be really okay to inherit that cost.
Because I did list it a while back as well, like with a realtor, and I was getting a lot traction, right? Like they were interested, but as soon as I brought up the solar panels, they were like, okay, well, let's see. And then they would end up backing out because of it. So I get how that can be a little not so appealing, I guess, but
it is transferable though, right?
Yes, sir. I already double checked with
okay.
And they said it's assumable. Whoever's going to be buying the property can transfer it into their name, or I pay them off. So those are my two options.
Gotcha. Which they all make them that way because they know you might sell.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's pretty.
Yeah, pretty normal. If I were to write up an offer and be willing to close pretty quick, is this something you want to move forward with? What I would do is I would probably just ask for a few days of due diligence just so that I can get my head around that solar and make sure that that's not going to be an issue for me. What we could do is I don't want to spend the time on it if we don't have, a contract in place or an agreement in place. So if we got an agreement in place, I would probably put a few days of due diligence on there so that I could look into that solar a little bit more, and then as long as that checked out, then we would just proceed to closing. And then at closing, I would come with the cash. We'd get that final payoff like right before closing, get the behind stuff all caught up. Then we just take over that loan. We take full responsibility for everything. And then that difference in cash would be to you at closing.
But no, that's fine. Do your due diligence and everything. Like I said, I'm still here. I do have other offers, like I mentioned. I'm not in a rush, but I kind of am, if that makes sense.
Well, if you've got a March sale for the auction, I wouldn't push it too long because a buyer's going to want about 30 days to close.
Right.
So you kind of need to think about it more like you want to lock up your buyer 30 days before that date so you don't make it too hard for somebody if the loan mod doesn't come through.
If I'm being completely honest, I'm hoping that loan mod comes through pretty soon because I would much rather, love to keep it.
Mm-hmm. When did you say your sale date was, your auction?
March 5th.
I mean, my recommendation would be it's the 19th. I don't think you want to push much past February.
Yeah, not at all. That's what I was saying. I want to really hear kind of all offers and go over it this weekend.
One thing I could do if it'd be helpful would be like if you sign with me, we can put a contingency in there that if your loan mod comes through by February 5th, let's say, then we can terminate the contract. Then you could just keep it because it came through. If it's after February 5th, then what's going to happen is if you call back everybody interested, the closer to that date, the harder it's going to be for somebody to be ready and funds and closing all set up and all that. People are going to rescind their offers and want a better deal. I had one time where they called me on Friday and their auction was on Monday. You're out of options by then because now you're just trying to save a foreclosure from your record, which you definitely don't want that. So that's something too that I could do if that's helpful. By doing that, here's why I think that's a good idea. You're like, okay, I got a buyer, so I'm ready to go. I got a buyer. And if my loan mod comes through, then great, I can do that instead. But now you can have some peace of mind that you're not pushing too tight to your deadline and stressing out at the last minute about it.
Right. Okay. Well, like I said, that sounds great. If you want to do your due diligence and all that, and then maybe send me over like some type of maybe email or text message with the terms and offer, I guess, and then we can kind of, I guess, go from there.
Yeah, typically what I prefer to do would be we agree on the terms. I write it up and I send it to you when we're ready to like execute, because I'm not saying you would do this, but oftentimes what will happen is I'll make an offer and then they'll take it to just shop everybody else.
Got you. Okay. I got plenty of offers, and I don't even say nothing either, though. And I'm like, oh, I have other offers, and of course they try to get you to talk, but I'm just being upfront. So
yeah, you seem very transparent. I appreciate that. And I don't want to spend the time to write up an offer and then I just sits on a pile. Like if you're ready to go with those contingencies, like a contingency that if your loan mod comes through, you can terminate the agreement. I want you to do what's best for you. So if keeping the property and doing a loan mod is best for you, definitely do that. I want you to do what's the right thing.
So let's say if I do go on contract with you and all that, and that does come in, I'm good to go, right? Because I don't want to be stuck to be like, hey man, well, we already signed this, so we got to get it done.
No, that's what I mean. We'll write in the agreement that if your loan mod comes through, then this agreement is null and void.
That's what I'm worried about, because I don't want to have to deal with anything like that.
No, it'll be right in there, so there'll be no argument. I mean, I would open escrow and start the title process, but we'll make sure it's clear to them, hey, there's a contingency here, and the contingency's in the agreement in writing that says if your loan mod approval goes through by, we pick a date, February 5th or whatever date you feel comfortable about, then this contract is null and void. And then it would just terminate.
Okay.
And then you go forward with your loan mod. Whether you do it with me or not, I think that's a smart move because now you got a plan A and a plan B and you're sitting in a good spot.
Right, exactly.
You're not pushing too close to that deadline where now you limit your options. You just don't want to limit your options while you can.
Right.
It would be totally in the agreement and it would be enforceable because it's written in the agreement.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure because, I don't, at the end of the day, I get you guys are trying to do what you guys do, but obviously I want to do what's best for me as well, right? So
yeah, that's why, for us, honestly, I've been doing this for 20 years and I never want to put a seller in a situation that's not the best thing for them because, when you win, I win, and I think that's how it should be. I'm looking at it as an investment, so clearly I want to do a good deal and something that makes money and all that. But at the same time, if you can sell it for more or you can figure out how to keep it or whatever other options you have, I'm totally supportive of that too.
Right.
You been there a long time?
Yeah, man. Born and raised here. So, yeah.
Good for you.
Home.
Are you going to stay close by when you, if you move on?
Yeah, I would like to stay in the city still. I mean, I haven't really had any interest to go anywhere else.
It's a pretty city. I love all the things they've done downtown.
I just don't want it to grow too much to where it's like Houston or something crazy. But yeah,
if I wrote this up and we sent it over, it'll be like a DocuSign, you know. We can go over it and everything and make sure you're comfortable with it, but we would include that contingency that terminates the contract if you get your loan modification. I think we'll want to put a date on there. I don't want to have everything set up to do it and then at the last minute you don't. So I think if we have just a window of time, and you don't want to do that either. You don't want to wait till the last minute to see if it.
exactly.
So if you're okay with that, we could put that in there, and then you could at least have the peace of mind that you've got a buyer lined up if the loan mod doesn't come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what I would like to do, right? If it does come through, everything works. I want to keep the property. If not, I mean, hey, like you said, I got a buyer, plan B, and we'll go through with the deal. You know, so.
Okay.
That's where I'm at with it. If you're good with it, so.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to draft this up and get this over, and then let's take a look at it and let's move forward.
Okay, sounds good, Jerry. I'll talk to you soon. I'm home all evening right now, so whenever you want to call or text, I'm here.
Perfect.
Okay, I hope you found this call helpful. I'm excited to see your big takeaways. Leave a comment and share with me why you think I got this deal over all the others. And finally, watch this next video where I take all of the information and do a detailed analysis as to why this is a good deal. I'll be using my creative financing calculator and show you the exact numbers. So watch that part 2 video now, and I'll see you on the next video.